Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another amazing episode of Networking and Beyond. Today we have with us a very special guest, a person who is extremely kind-hearted, soft-spoken, but an amazing hard worker. And if you put him into a room of BNI people, people will tell him that he's the most dependable person. He served as a vice president in our previous term for the Vega chapter. He's an individual who's an expert at what he does. I'm super excited to welcome our next guest, Mr. Sumant MJ. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our guest, Mr. Sumant MJ. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Lalit. Thank you for the invite.
Sir, how does it feel to be on your first ever podcast, I'm assuming, and does it feel good?
Yes, I'm too excited to be on the first ever broadcast. And I really thank you for this, giving me an opportunity to be on your broadcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming. And sir, today I've seen you in our BNI chapter, and when I walked into the chapter, I was quite lost. And one of the first people who eventually stood up in the MC team and spoke out, and I thought was an approachable member was you. So how has your journey in this whole BNI process been with business?
See, BNI is an excellent platform for any entrepreneur to get into it.
Okay.
I would suggest. I started basically 4 years back when this Vega chapter was in a launch stage. That's where I started my BNI journey. This has given me great confidence in doing my business, and the way the process the BNI has set, that is quite commanding on the front. We can use these process back to your office. Okay. That is the biggest takeaway that you can take it out of the BNI. If you don't get business, but still you get the process always with you. Yes. That will remain with you always. That's
very true.
And BNI tells about lifelong learning. So I always believe that when you stop learning, that's the end of your life. So BNI also comes to that same process. Yes, that's a lifelong learning. Every day is a learning process for me. And BNI has taught me a lot, and it has given me a lot of confidence in getting into different projects, which I never used to get into those kind of projects before entering into the BNI. That is the power of collaboration that what is being BNI has offered to me.
Fantastic.
And I'm more confident in taking up new projects. And I always feel that, yes, there is a lot of people behind me to support me. If anything to be needed as a support, might be moral support or a technical support can be, I got a lot of people to support me on this platform. This platform has given me a lot so that I can take it forward and cherish it for my lifetime.
That's fantastic, sir. Sir, now that we share that common area that both of us are BNI members, leaving BNI apart for another segment, I want to go to your business, sir. I want to go to the time where you said, we were having a conversation. You said you were working in a specific place, and then you started your entrepreneurial journey. Can you just tell us, the listeners, how did your entrepreneurial journey start? What was the story behind?
Yes, this goes a long way behind. That is nearly 15 years back, where I used to work for a company called Cadre Global Private Limited. By the time I decided to start, I was heading the operations over there. So we, 4 of our colleagues, thought of it, let us start our own company into GIS based services on the front. That is what we are there earlier also. We wanted to do something new in the market, where lot of the companies used to do GIS job. They're only collecting data and creating maps and putting some data to it. We wanted to add some value additions to that, so that we want to integrate those GIS to everyday business needs. That is what we were planned on the front, and we all 4 agreed to each other on the front, and we started this company nearly 15 years back. That is how we started. Our major clients used to be all government agencies. That is where we used to get business from. GIS was used by the government agencies.
So you said GIS, is it?
Yeah, GIS is Geographic Information Systems. That is basically, it's a map. It's intelligence attached to it. At the back end, there's a lot of database will go into
Just like Google Maps.
Yes, just like Google Maps. Yes, Google Maps on the terms. When we started, there was no Google Maps either before. That we used to produce the maps more than before the Google Maps came into. We used to produce the maps for the people on the.
So you were the inventors of something like the maps before this became commercially prominent.
Yeah, commercial. I won't say it as an inventor. There are a lot of other companies also over there. We were we used to offer as a service.
Service. Offer as a
Not
service.
as a product. We used
Fair
to
enough.
offer this as a service. That is where we started our journey. That is a long time back, and we have evolved as a company. The business grown. We call ourselves as a location-based service provider. As a business has evolved on that front. See, this location-based service provider is a necessity for everyone to day-to-day life. You would have used location-based services like Uber, Ola, Uber or Ola. They are at your doorsteps. That is the location-based services. You use Swiggy every day for your ordering for your foods, or Zomato or any food ordering.
Sir, can I ask you a question on that front? Like you said, Swiggy, Uber, Ola, right? So what industries use this GPS? So you were saying this transportation, the food transportation industry, and apart from that, anything?
When we started earlier, there was very limited industries which we used to use GIS services or GPS based services. Might be some say logistic companies we used to use it. That is where on the front. Now more or less all the logistic companies uses the tracking solutions. Tracking of their buses. It might be your trucks or it might be your buses. Even now there is a mandate for the school buses also to have a camera and a GPS fitted to it.
For safety.
And yes, most of the parents would have experienced it. They can know when the student has went to the school or when they are logged on to the bus and they are coming out of the bus. Date and time, exactly timestamp will be there. So that is, the industry has evolved. More or less each and every individual are using location-based services nowadays. I would say in a tier 1 cities like Bangalore, everyone would have used location-based services at their point.
Like, I mean, as long as you have a mobile phone, a smartphone, and you have, Swiggy, Uber, you have Google Maps, you have so many emergency SOS apps which, help you save lives and all of these things. Any other add-ons?
Yes, see, what would I suggest is when there was no smartphones, yes, this services was very much limited to the industry specific. On the front. Now, when the smartphone and the GPS or GIS connectivity, not GPRS connectivity, it's a mobile network basically. Mobile network which came into it. When we started, there was 2G network. Now we are in a 4G network going to a 5G network. Okay. So these things, as what has happened is, data transmission has become very easy. The people can transmit data real time.
Yes.
See, when we started this tracking solutions for our field force initially on the front, there are a lot of field activities which were happening through our company. Okay. We started for our own company. See, what will happen is people go to the field, collect data, and they go back to their rooms, the hotel rooms, and process the data, and they used to send the data.
Correct.
Now, what is happening is our field teams send data in real time.
Correct.
That is the advantage.
Pretty much live at that moment.
At that moment, what's happening on the ground, so that you will have more control on your work. What's happening on the ground.
Yes.
That is where we are. We work with a lot of remote locations, so where we can easily guide our field team. So what is happening and what to do next. So this is the advantage to anyone in the field who wants to manage their entire field teams from their offices. Yes, these solutions will help.
So I think as an interview, I'll just break this down for the listeners in a much more simpler way. So for example, if you book a Dunzo for a place 10 kilometers away, it's like having control over the Dunzo guy.
Yes,
right? You exactly see where he goes.
Yes.
At what time he's going.
Yeah.
And just in case if there's any problem, you can send an alert or a report, notification to the person who's sitting at the call center. Similarly, in your field, it would be somebody who's working on the spot. Any emergency, any mishappening happens, he can immediately send you real-time information and give you source right then and there.
Yes, right then and there. See, what will happen is if you are working on a remote locations, see, the entire team does not sit over there.
Correct.
There is a field guy who's doing there on the field job.
True.
But the team is completely blank at the back of your office. What's happening in the field. So this gives an opportunity for the team to visualize in the real time what is that. If any data which has been captured, it might be pictures, it might be videos, it might be text. They can immediately send it back to your backend team. So that the backend team has come to know the overview what's happening over there. If something wrong, the field guy is moving in a different directions where it is not supposed to move, or you want to make a change to the your field team to go to a different directions, you can directly navigate them to that. So that is the advantage of this.
Superb, sir. Sir, now I want to know, like in the previous question, you mentioned that some of the government agencies also use your services. And one specific government agency is the traffic police, right? So I want to know, how does the traffic police benefit from your technology?
See, traffic police, the major beneficiary that we work with a lot of traffic polices as of now. See, how does the traffic police beneficiary is? See, one option is initially they used to don't know where there are field staff are. It might be constables, it might be their inspectors, or it might be their Vaisalas, it might be the other bikes, the cheetahs, what they use. They don't know the exact location where they have been put up. So this technology has given them to view where exactly the field sports has been spread out. If any incident happened any point of time, they can immediately alert to the nearest guy so that to go and meet the location faster, as fast as possible. That is the way it has been advantage on the traffic police. For the traffic police, I would say we have got a lot of applications built for them. So one of them is application is to track the offenders, that's the violators, traffic violators also. Part of it. If there is a series of violations is done by one single particular person, the system automatically alerts him. This person is doing these kind of alerts at these particular point of junctions, so that the system, the traffic police can go them and educate him so that what is the offenses that he might see. Some offenders they will be not knowing what they exactly do, and some are repeated offenders. So depending on them, they can take their necessary actions on that front. This is how the traffic police is also more helpful on that front.
That's really good, sir. So I was just getting a very funny moment in my head. So I was just going to tell the listeners that the next time they don't wear a helmet or they skip a signal, if the cops come knocking at the door, it's probably because of the tech that you've built and you've given us to them as a service.
Yes, that is. You always think that there is a third eye watching you on the back end, so that I will suggest don't do any violations. Be safe on that.
Be safe. Yes, 100%. Because technology is very precise today, and it'll immediately catch you red-handed. Sir, now going to the product itself, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who are using this technology. You yourself gave apps like there's Swiggy, Zomato, there's Dunzo, there's Uber, Google Maps. So now, as a service provider for the same, what makes you different? What is your USP, sir?
See, our USP is, if you go for any application developer, they look as a one application itself. But our focus is, we have learned this art from the very own experiences that what we earned. Before this technology was evolving, we are there in this particular field. We know how this technology really works. And our USP is we integrate back to your backend system. We don't want to change your entire system. Okay. We always prefer to work with your existing infrastructure, what you have got. We try to integrate with existing infrastructure. That is our USP. We give solutions which is more easy, user friendly, and easy to operate for you.
Super.
Oh, that is what our USP is.
Okay. So basically, you were saying by integrating this, you save time. You save money,
yes,
and you save a lot of other resources as well.
Yes.
Because if it involves two different systems, then the integration process is different. The cost, of course, rises high.
Absolutely.
So you're saying this is the difference between you and the other service providers.
Absolutely.
Fantastic, sir. Sir, my last question regarding your business is, I wanted to call this a niched out business, but I remember our conversation where you said, hey Lalit, this is no more a niche,
Yes.
it is there in our phones and most of us have it. Now I want to know if GPS tracking is something that we have so significantly on our phones today in the present.
Yeah.
What is the future of such a business? Is it going to get into our lives even more? As an expert, what would you say?
Yes, I would say this will be getting into more into your life. People are now getting used to the services at their doorsteps.
Correct.
See, this one thing, for example, I would say this pandemic, what the asset is, people have started working from home. People have moved to their own towns. We are in level 1 cities.
Correct.
Let us go to the level 2 and level 3 cities. People have moved to those cities, to their native places. They have started working from there.
Correct.
Own source. See, they expect some kind of services to be provided.
Correct.
So these kind of services will start penetrating to other cities also. Then there is a big business opportunity to everyone to get into it. See, only a small set of people or small segment of people live in level 1 cities. The level 2 and level 3 cities are the biggest population that you find it on the front. And there are huge number of opportunities is available. This industry will go big. Coming down the line, the next year down the line, it will be very huge on the front. It will penetrate to each and every individuals at any given point of time.
That's fantastic, sir. And I truly believe that as long as you have a phone, you are directly or indirectly a customer and a user of this service.
Yes,
And like you said, the more the technology awareness spreads, the more user base you keep getting for an industry like this.
Absolutely. That's your right.
Sir, so we come to the end of the business segment. We've understood your fundamentals of your business. Let's move on to the book that the chapter that we opened initially, which is the BNI part of it. BNI being one specific channel of business. I would like to ask you a couple of questions, sir. So you've said you've been a member for 4 years.
Yeah.
I want to know, how was your journey in BNI, sir?
See, I started, as I said, I started my journey 4 years back when Vega chapter was getting formed. I'm the founder member of Vega chapter. That is where I started my. It's a networking. When I initially came to that, when I was invited as a visitor. I thought it might be any networking firm.
Okay.
No, I just came into it. But the interesting fact is the process which has been followed by the BNI. That is what amazed me on that front. See, the process which you can always take it back to your office also. You can implement these kind of process at your office. And I have done that also through this. That is the biggest thing that I've taken out from the BNI.
So can you give me an example of what you've integrated from BNI to your office?
See, everything has been measured. See, when we started our office, we didn't have such a disciplined process that BNI follows in our office.
Correct.
Now in BNI, whatever you do, everything is being measured. So these are the kind of process. Now I started putting up these things in my office also, and I see the difference in my team. Yes, everything is being measured, and the team's performance is increased a lot. That is what I really good takeaway from this. That is the one good thing that has happened from BNI. And this journey has started, as I said, 4 years back, and I met a lot of other entrepreneurs. I understand the way they do business. And this gives me opportunity to make changes within my own business also.
Correct.
Now that is the advantage of it. See, you don't get these kind of entrepreneurs anywhere. So people are ready to help on the front. You can always go back if you've got any doubts, anything, you can always fall back on them. They're always there to support. You don't get these kind of support system anywhere.
True.
Being an entrepreneur, I think this kind of a support system is a must for everyone.
Very true.
So that you can rely on people.
Yes, sir. Sir, I definitely agree with you on that, because I'll give you a small instance of mine. When I entered BNI as a new person, it looks like, BNI is so many processes and all of that. I remember talking to one of the senior trainers from the BNI field itself. And I remember that person asking me about my business model.
Yeah.
Okay, so he ended up asking me, Lalit, tell me about your business model. And when I shared a few things about my business model, he told me exactly where I was going wrong, because 20 years ago he was going wrong exactly in the same place.
Excellent.
Right? So immediately when I made the change, I could see the kind of increase in my revenue. I could see the increase in my delivery. I could see the increase in my efficiency, and I'm forever grateful for BNI. And I think the biggest takeaway over here for me is, it's not the monetary value, sir. It is something beyond, the relationship,
yes,
the learnings that you get and you can apply. Yes.
See, that is what. See, BNI, one place where people come and greet you, how can I help you?
Yes.
So that's what which feels you calm. See, if someone comes to you and say that, how can I help you? That's what it is more than sufficient. You feel that, yes, there are people that is how you see. Once you start getting, getting business or getting relationship built on that, naturally builds a huge bond between the people, and people are there always to help you on that front. So that's an excellent platform.
Very true, sir. I agree with you on that. Sir, can you give me a quick example of a story of either your biggest give or gain in BNI?
My biggest give or gain, I would say, rather than give, I would say gain. Okay. So everything is a gain in BNI. I will not say everything is a give. So you have built a relationships, that's a gain for you. If you are given a referral or given a business to someone, in return you receive referrals, that is also a gain for you. So I always say it is only gain in BNI. There is nothing give on the front.
Something specific in your
I will tell you. Initially, before coming into the BNI, I was hesitant to take up a lot of other projects. As I said, we work with a lot of government agencies. I was very hesitant to pick up most of the projects which I really feel doubtful of myself. Okay. When I came into BNI, I got such a supporting ecosystem so that I am now more confident. Yes, I can pick up these projects from there, so that there is a big team behind me. They can help me out. We are collaborated with a lot of companies also on the front, so they are helping me to what do you say? They are helping me to complete these projects more efficiently than ever before. That is what my biggest gain in from the BNI.
Okay, so you've gained a lot of key partners who will help you optimize and make your processes much faster. And
Make
easier.
a process, and even they get involved into my projects also. We are jointly working on couple of projects in the BNI. We have executed couple of projects within the chapter. We have
One example.
See, one example, I would say some couple of traffic police projects itself, we have worked together, and we have jointly worked together, and we have done it quite efficiently than ever before. So those projects, I would have not gone into those projects. Some of the services where I used to never give those services initially.
Correct.
Now it has given me a confidence, so that I can take up these jobs also. There are people to support me. So this is the kind of confidence I've gained.
That's fantastic, sir. Sir, any message for all the entrepreneurs who've not yet joined BNI?
See, I would say for any entrepreneur, I would say BNI is a must platform to you guys. You have got a beautiful ecosystem, beautiful process to follow with it. There are a lot of process which is being placed that you don't do it at your own business. BNI will teach you those processes. So any entrepreneur should come into it. There's a good ecosystem where you can work with it, and people are ready to help you. Ready to generate referrals for you. This is excellent platform. Okay. I would say every entrepreneur should get onto this platform.
Sir, can you give me a name of a person who's added a lot of value to you in BNI, or has been kind of an inspirational figure? Anybody who's given you some value?
See, one value I always think about it when I joined BNI, the founder itself, Ivan Meisner. See, he developed this BNI, developed a group of people around him to generate referrals for himself, for his own business. See, and he created a business module out of it, and he has given it to the world on the front. So, and this is what amazed me on the front. There is a lot of opportunities for everyone to take away. As I said, I never used to get with the different projects. Now I am expanding my business.
Correct.
So this is the kind of confidence that he gives on a friend. I would say Ivan Meisner itself is my great inspiration. See, he picked up a small idea of it for generating referrals for himself, and he gave it to the entire BNI fraternity on that.
Correct.
That's great.
Very true. I think Dr. Ivan Meisner has been a very big inspiration, especially for the BNI community at large. And sir, like they say, it's not just because of his leadership. BNI was able to clock close to $1 billion during COVID.
Yes, absolutely.
Period, right? And we move into the last and the fun and the free segment of rapid fire questions, where you can answer the question in about 5 seconds. Give whatever answer comes to your mind, and feel free about this. So, are you ready, sir?
Yeah, let's take it on.
So, the first question to you, sir, is what motivates you to get out of bed every single day in the morning?
See, your life is a surprise for you every day. So that's what you are there. That's the biggest motivation. Yes, my family is my another biggest motivations, and my daughter biggest motivation. And there is a lot of learning for you. I always believe that every day is a learning process. Okay. Learn for new things. Every day is a learning for me. That's what motivates me.
Superb, sir. Sir, I want to know this. This is a very interesting question. It says, name another business profession you wouldn't mind getting into. If not for this, what else would you consider a good business for yourself?
See, as of now, I always think about agriculture as a thing. There are a lot of people, I wanted to develop a platform for it. That is my dream goal, that what I'm looking at. I want to build a platform for the farmers who can directly get connected to the end users.
Okay.
This is what my biggest platform. If this would have not been there, sure, I will surely would have been on the agriculture, building a platform for them.
So that's fantastic, and I think the world needs more people like you, and that solves a lot of problems, you know. But anyway, rapid fire. Let's move on to the next question. So, what is the favorite part of your current job?
My favorite part of my current job is problem solving. Always love that. Whenever I meet a client, the client comes out with a specific problems.
Okay.
That was encourages me to work to solve that problem. When the client come out and say that yes, you have solved my problem, you have made my life so much better. That's what keeps me going.
That's fantastic, sir. So, name 3 business leaders you would want to have a discussion over dinner.
See, well, 3 leaders out of discussion. Yes, I would like to meet Ratan Tata. Yes,
Okay.
they are managing one of the biggest Tata Sons biggest organization itself. I just want to learn from them how do they manage their time. That is what really amazes me on that front.
Okay.
And the other person would be what do you say? Other person would be Ambani would be great. They are also doing excellent employment generation is the key for them. That is what they are looking at. So that really excellent thing. I just want to learn more about how do they generate such a big business, manage their big business. And the third person, I like to meet more and more small business owners also. So they find a lot of problems in day-to-day life. If anything small help I can do to them on the front, that will be a really good help.
So I like how even towards this you have this giver's mindset towards the end. I really like that concept of it, sir. Sir, moving on to the next question. If you were given $1 million, what would you do with it?
As I already said, I'll start working on my agri platform where I can build them and where the most of the farmers get more benefited by this platform.
Getting one step closer to their dream, huh?
Yes.
Sir, so, sir, I don't know if you have a habit of reading books, but what are some of the most inspirational books or videos that you can recommend for anyone which you have watched or read at one point of time?
Yeah, as you said, I don't read much of the books on that front. One of the books which I was is The Wings of Fire, the Abdul Kalam's
APJ Abdul
Kalam's book. Yes, that was really excellent book. Most of the simple man, a simple boy came out can become a scientist. That's really inspires the most of the people.
It's a book that even I read very young, but I definitely second that book. It's a great book. So moving on, if you authored a book,
Yeah,
if you wrote your own book, what would you call it?
never get lost.
Never get lost. Why is that, sir?
So why is that? I'm the same business. So you want to know, be aware what you are doing it. You want to know if you want to know what's happening around you. So that's always that is my business module also.
Correct.
We want all the entrepreneurs to know where their people are, what their assets are doing it out. So I would slowly
Pretty much
put
on
it
the GPS lines itself.
Yeah.
Yes, that's nice. So any piece of advice that you've got, best piece of advice?
Yes, this is one of my client, which I was when I started my business in early stages. We are doing a lot of work to them. So I was used to discuss some of my ideas with him. Is a very old guy with a old entrepreneur basically. He got a good exposure to the different kind of industries. He said me one couple of lines. You have got excellent ideas. If you don't know how to market your ideas will never see a daylight. I would see. Then I really thought, yes, that's a real good. You might have excellent ideas. You don't know how to market your products. Then your ideas is nothing. You'll never see a daylight.
Very true. Sir, moving on, coffee or tea? What do you prefer most?
Tea, anytime.
Tea person, chai person. So, do you like the indoors or the outdoors?
Yes, I used to play a lot of cricket. Now mostly indoors, badminton.
Badminton, indoor badminton. If you could teach one subject in school, what would it be?
Value system.
Value system.
Yes.
Moral science,
Moral science value system. Kids have lost the value about values.
Yeah, I really think we need a subject like that in the
yes.
school system. Yes. What's your favorite movie, sir?
My favorite movie, I see very less movies. Most of the thing, my enthusiastic will be more into suspense, kind of a thriller movies.
Okay.
That's what I like the most movies.
Okay, that's great. Sir, do you prefer wearing formals or casuals? Even though you're wearing formals right now, what do
I
you
always prefer casuals.
freedom? What would you do on a rainy day?
Rainy day, I like to get drenched in a rain most of the time.
Really?
Yes,
That's nice.
yes, I used to do that. Even I used to go with a bike ride. I mean, I used to used to go office through bike. Whenever the rain comes, I never used to stop. I used to always drive in the rain. That's what I always like to do.
That's fantastic, sir. Sir, my last and final question is what do you do to relax?
Relax, yes, relax. My family time will relax me on that front, and I like to go out with a place where there is not much of a disturbance. Most of the time, I pick up holiday vacations also, which is very lonely places where I get silence. I love the most on that front. That's where I like to get relaxed.
Oh, that's very interesting, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this wonderful podcast. And to put in some summary out of this podcast, some of the takeaways. For me personally, I felt the first takeaway, sir, was that as technology starts building and awareness starts building, an industry like GPS tracking and an industry like this will really start booming big. We are already using it in all the industries, and it's before time that every single person in India and the world is using the same technology. That's my first takeaway. My second takeaway is from your BNI journey, because throughout you were speaking of no monetary value, but you were kept talking about the value you gained from BNI. I always believe the same thing. No matter how much money you make or you don't make, it is those lessons that you learn, and you cannot put a price tag on that.
Absolutely.
Right? The relationships and the lessons you
Yes.
learn. I think that was my second takeaway. And my third takeaway is, at the end of the day, be a giver. This is one takeaway that has come across everybody. Be a giver, 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 and you will automatically get. And again, if you apply the principle of lifelong learning and with the principle of giving, you're a winner automatically.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you so much, sir, for coming on this show. And thus we come to the end of this brilliant show. Stay tuned for much more episodes. Do comment, do share, and like this episode. And we will be more than happy to see what feedback you have to give us. Thank you. See you next time.